focus.
Speed. Was focus.
Urgency. Focus.
Speed.
Focus.
Urgent. Focus.
Move fast.
Focus.
Emergency.
Just focus.
Speed. Focus.
Speed.
Focus.
Move fast. Focus.
Speed. Focus.
The two things that are renowned to be crucial for success are focus and speed. And you already know this, which is quite sad because you're not focused and you don't move quickly. In fact, you're very distracted and probably quite slow when it comes to building things or trying to become successful. And so why, for the life of you, can't you focus? And why can't you move quickly? And why are you so slow with making decisions? And why do you get paralyzed as soon as it comes to do anything? Why do you have no sense of urgency? And why are you getting so distracted away from your goal? Well, it's because you think you know that speed and focus are important to success. But the truth is that we vote through our behavior, not through our words. And so stop telling everyone that you know that these things are important and start actually acting them out. And if you're not acting them out, it's because you don't actually think they are important or you don't have a frame of reference that makes you think they are. So what I'm going to do in this video is give you a frame of reference for focus and speed that will make it so simple for you to understand why focus and speed are obsessively, compulsively, ridiculously the best things you can possibly muster up in your life to become successful. We have two states of existence here. You've got the future here, which is this green star, and you've got this now state, which is this X, okay? And obviously between these two things is time. The thing is that if you don't take a little bit of control over your life and take some damn responsibility for your existence, this future is just going to become, it's going to be random. It's going to be randomized. You're going to basically roll a dice and end up somewhere completely random. What you want to do is muster some sense of responsibility in your life so you can take control. But what you need to realize is this. First of all, you need to understand what you want. Simple. And that could be, let's say you want $1 million. You want to become a millionaire. Okay, let's just settle that as a goal. Let's say it's a universal goal that you want. Whilst I got you here, if you're stuck and you don't know where to start, like you want to start a business and become successful, but you're not sure how or why or where, there's a link in the description you can click. It's a 6-week training program. It's completely free. It took me a year to make. There's 50,000 people in there, so go and check it out if you want to start. What you need to understand and realize is that between now and the future is basically a series of decisions. What this basically looks like is every single decision that you make has a action associated with it. So some decisions can have 1 action, some can have 10. And the way it works is becoming successful and building the future you want to build is as simple as making the right decisions and acting out those decisions. Okay? So for example, let's say you want to start a business. The first decision you have to make is what's your niche? Okay? And the niche might be, I want to work with dentists. And then from there, you have a massive list of action items on researching niche, understanding niche. Let's say that you have to decide what business model you want to go into the first place. And basically, once you make the first decision, there are a series of decisions that happen in a linear form. And basically, what you want to learn to do is compress the time frame over which you make decisions. Because I promise you right now, there is an arbitrary number of decisions that you need to make to achieve your goal. And getting to your goal and becoming the millionaire you want to become or achieving the life you want to achieve is literally as simple as making those decisions in a row. It could be the case that between you and being a millionaire, there are 15,000 decisions. There is no easier way to explain success than that. It's just you make a decision and then you're presented with the next one. And you make a decision and you're presented with the next one. And all success is making the right decision at every single step of the way. And the right decision is always quite easy to make because it's usually the one that is most painful to make. Okay, so if you want a frame of reference on how to make the right decision, it's usually going to be what hurts the most and what brings you the most suffering in the short term and brings you the best results in the long term, right? And you need to understand that the reason that speed is so vital and so important is because you can only make decision number 2 when you've made decision number 1, and you can only make decision number 3 when you've made decision number 2, right? And so let's say that decision number 10,000 at the end here could be, which investment portfolio do I use to put my $1 million in? That's a decision that you want to make. That's a decision that you want. You want to be faced with that question because you've got $1 million. It's a linear chain of choices. The thing you need to get through your head is the reason that speed and focus are so fucking important is because the speed at which you make the decision in front of you now is the speed at which you can make the next decision and the next one and the next one. And all success is just one decision after the other. But you can't make the decision after the other if you haven't made the current one right now. A lot of you guys watching this are remarkably indecisive and you procrastinate hard. And so what it means is after you make a decision is, there will be a series of actions you have to take to execute on that decision. So for example, let's say you're making the decision of, should I do cold calling for my business or should I do cold emailing? And the decision is cold email, cold call, or both. You've got 3 options here, right? And The answer is probably to do both. And so now you have to go and you have to build a series of actions around those things. Okay, well, I need to go and take the action of creating my email account. I need to go and take the action of buying a new phone for cold calling. I need to go, and then you have to start acting them out. And every day you then have to make the decision to actually do it. And so the point I'm making here is the speed thing is crucial because the quicker you make decisions and the quicker you can compress the time frame to make a choice, the faster you will move on to the next decision. And again, being successful is as simple as just making tens of thousands of decisions in a row, and then you get to the point where you are and taking the actions associated with them. But then if we add focus to the mix here, okay, you've got your goal and you need to be focused on your goal, okay, which is, becoming a millionaire or whatever. And what will happen when you're making decisions is you need to draw what we would call guardrails. So when you go bowling, you go like 10-pin bowling with your friends or whatever when you're like a kid, and you can put the barriers up when you're bowling, and you throw a ball down and it hits the pins, and what will happen is, if this is the bowling alley and the pins are here like this, you can see, then you'll throw the ball and the ball will sort of traverse between the two guardrails and hit the pins. All your goal is in life is trying to just hit the pins. And what you need to do is set some mental guardrails in your brain so that you stay on track and you stay focused. Because what will happen is there are multiple things you can do in your life. There are hundreds of different outcomes, hundreds of different things you can focus on, and therefore there are like loads of different decisions that you can make, because let's say that this is the decision chain here for $1 million, but then over here is the decision chain for something else, and over here is the decision chain for something else. So like, let's say that this is a decision chain for, being a grade A looks maxer, like looks maxing, I don't know what the hell. Or this is the decision tree here for becoming a famous actor. Or there's another sort of decision chain like this for becoming a famous, streamer, right? All of these outcomes, all of these futures, they have decision chains. But the thing is you need to pick one and you need to stay on track. Because what happens to most people in life is they start on their track. Right? They start with the decision chain that moves them towards the single most important goal in their life, and they get to this point, or they get to this point, or this point, and before they can actually get to the final decisions that really start to compound and bring the leverage to the result, they just fucking go off. They go off the beaten track, off to some random different goal, and they never achieve anything because they don't see the decision chain through. And so what you need to learn to do, this is the focus thing, is you need to move as fast as you can with as much intent and focus as you can. Because if you can just make quick decisions and take actions that are super fast associated with those decisions, and you just stay on that track and it's just decision, 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 and you're taking actions every step of the way to support those decisions, and you stay on that chain and you don't fuck off into the darkness to do something else random, i.e. you do things quickly and you stay focused, you will achieve your goal. Let me reiterate this and let me just make it super abundantly clear. Between you right now and the future you want to achieve, that state of existence, that snapshot of the future that you so desire, the effect, there is a chain of decisions that you have to make. And that is it. There is nothing else to it than that. It's just a series of decisions which then have to be executed on, which we call actions. Like the speed at which you achieve your goal, the speed at which you get to that $1 million mark or that success point that you want to crave and desire is determined solely by the speed at which you make decisions. Because the decision chain is the cause and the outcome is the effect. But it's impossible for you to get there quickly if you make decisions slowly and if you procrastinate the actions associated with the decisions. But also it's impossible to get there if you're not focused and eventually you just fall off into nothingness because you got distracted. So yeah, that's everything. Bye.
Whilst I got you here, if you're stuck and you don't know where to start, like you want to start a business and become successful, but you're not sure how or why or where, there's a link in the description you can click. It's a 6-week training program. It's completely free. It took me a year to make. There's 50,000 people in there. So go and check it out if you want to start.